This is Fitness Blender's ski conditioning workout. In this routine, we're going to be doing 16 repetitions of 10 different exercises. We're going to be doing 3 sets of each exercise in groups of 2 exercises at a time. Let's go ahead and get started with our first group of isolation jump squats and the Russian twist. Our first exercise, the isolation jump squat, is a modification of a traditional jump squat. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You're going to do 3 separate motions. The first one's going to be a very short jump. The second one's going to be a slightly higher jump. And then the third is you're going to jump fully extending those legs as high as you possibly can. So every time you jump, you actually want to bring yourself back down as quickly as possible. So that jump gets a little bit higher, but then you drop yourself right back down. Jump again, a little higher still, right back down. And then that third one, jump as hard and as high as you possibly can. And then drop right back into that squat and start again. Just like a traditional squat, you want to try to keep your weight back in your heels and your knees back behind those toes. This is your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, we're moving on to the Russian twist. This is the harder version, keeping those feet up off the ground, makes that core have to work a little bit harder. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You want those arms at a 90-degree angle off of your chest. You want your back perfectly flat. Do not let your back round. And you're going to rotate from left to right as far as you can control without losing your balance. Now in this harder version, those feet are hovering just a little bit off the ground, but if you want to make it a little bit easier for yourself, you can always let those feet touch. It gives you a little bit more support. Those legs and those abdominal muscles don't have to work quite as hard to help you keep that balance. Now we're almost done. Really focus on that form. You want to keep that back perfectly flat. As you get tired, it's going to want to round out on you. You can really injure your back if you let it round, so make sure it's flat. So your last one right here. And go ahead and let it relax. All right, moving back to the isolation jump squats. And go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, really isolate those jumps. Really short jump at the very bottom. Extend that jump just a little bit higher. And then that last one as hard and as high as you possibly can. You want to try to mimic that feeling of going down through uneven terrain where your muscles really have to change their tension and change how they're controlling your body every second. And we're almost done. You got 2 more. And this is your last one. And let it relax. All right, moving on to the Russian twist. 14 repetitions on this one. Remember that back needs to be nice and flat. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. As much rotation left to right as possible. You want to track your hands with your face. And you want to try to make sure that you don't swing your arms left to right. So you want to keep them perfectly straight in front of the center of your chest. As you twist, you don't want to let those hands drift off to the side, letting your shoulders move. You want to just keep them right directly in front of your chest. Just really focus on trying to get those shoulders to rotate left to right as much as possible. Just got a few more to go through. And here's your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, moving back to the isolation jump squat. This is your last round of this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. This is your last round of these, so really make it count. You want those legs to really be burning by the time you're done with this one. Now, if you want to change this up a little bit, feel free to switch out the cycle of when you're doing the short jump or when you're doing the medium jump or when you're doing the full jump. You can do 2 full jumps in a row or 2 short jumps in a row. The idea is to really challenge those muscles and that reaction time to mimic as closely as possible the idea of being out on the slopes. So feel free to switch it up a little bit. We're almost done. Just got a couple more. And here's your last one. And let it relax. All right, on to that Russian twist. This is your last round of the Russian twist. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, nice straight back. Arms perfectly straight out in front of that chest. Keeping those legs up off the ground for the hardest version. The further you lean back, the more those abs have to work to keep you up. And remember, try to get as much rotation as possible from left to right and really focus on keeping that back nice and flat. The main thing is trying to get a really nice rotation without letting that lower back round. Just got a few more repetitions to go through. Just keep that form nice and solid. And here's your last rotation right here, over the other side and back, and let it relax. All right, that's the end of group number 1. On to group number 2. Next one is going to be the agility dots and the tricep dips. You're going to need a chair for that one. But we're going to start out with those agility dots, and you're going to need to either imagine or physically tape a square on the ground to jump around. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You're jumping in an X pattern across these, so you're starting at the bottom corner, jumping diagonally forward, then straight across, and then diagonally backwards, then straight across again to where you started, making a nice little X across it. We're going to switch directions here in just a second, so pay attention to which corner you're starting with and which direction you're going. Just a few more repetitions, and go ahead and let it relax. Easiest thing is just to swap over that opposite corner and start again. So you want to move really, really quickly on this one. It's about accuracy. You want to try to get as close to landing on that dot each time as possible. Now, if you want a little bit harder version, you can always do the single leg version of this, which is where you jump these directions just on one leg first, then you switch directions, swap legs, and then do it again. One direction, then the opposite direction. And your last one right here, go ahead and let it relax. Moving on to the tricep dips, you need a chair or a bench. Just make sure it's something that's not going to tip over. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now, when you're doing the tricep dips, the main things you want to focus on are keeping your elbows pulled back behind you. You don't want them to splay out too wide, and you don't want to dip too low. You want to go down to where your shoulder is about level with your elbow, but not any lower than that. If you go much lower than that, you run the risk of tearing the muscles and ligaments in the front of your shoulder. So you want to really control that range of motion. Other thing, you want to make sure those legs are out completely extended for the hardest version. If you want to make it a little bit easier on yourself, you're just going to walk those feet in a little bit closer towards you. We're almost done here, just a few more repetitions. And here's your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, moving on to the agility dots. Now remember, we're doing 16 repetitions in each direction on these. If you want to make them harder, you can always switch to a single leg. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Nice quick motion, trying to be as accurate as possible and as quick as possible at the same time. Keep that motion under control. Remember, if this exercise gets too easy for you, you can always make it more difficult by switching to that single leg. It just takes a little bit longer to get through. It's got a few more. And there's your last one right there. Go ahead and switch sides, change directions, and begin again. And we're almost done. Here's your last round right here, and let it relax. All right, back to those tricep dips. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Extend those legs out there. Remember, keep those elbows pulled back behind you, squeezing them together the entire time. Don't drop too low, just shoulder about elbow height. Keep that back up against that chair or that bench as close as possible. Nice slow fluid motion. Getting a full extension on that arm at the top. Just got a few more repetitions to go through. Really concentrate on that form. Keep those lungs open. Don't hold that breath. And we're almost done. This is your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, moving on to those agility dots again. This is your last round of these. Get ready. And begin. All right, I know this is your last one. Those legs are probably going to get nice and tired on this one, but really try to focus on being as accurate as you possibly can. Just like when you're running down the slopes and those legs are getting really tired, if you don't constantly force those legs to do what you want them to, then you're going to make a mistake. You're going to possibly hurt yourself. So make sure you're really, really focusing on that form to try to learn how to force your legs to do what you want them to, even though they're tired. All right, we're going to go ahead and switch directions. And begin again. Really concentrate on that form. Nice quick motions, as accurate as possible. Just keep them going. We're almost done. This is your last one right here. And let it relax. Alright, this is your last round of the tricep dips. Make sure you're really focusing on keeping those elbows squeezed in nice and tight. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Legs out nice and straight for the hardest version. Keep those elbows pulled in, those fingers facing out towards those hips. As low as is comfortable without dropping much below that elbow. And then all the way up to a full extension on those arms. Keep that motion nice and slow under control. Again, these arms are probably getting nice and tired. You want to really try to force that control. Really try to force a really nice, smooth, even motion. Just a few more repetitions. Almost done. This is your last one right here. And let it relax. Alright, that is the end of group number 2. We're moving on to group number 3. This is the single leg lateral hops and high knee step overs. Starting out with the single leg lateral hops, we're going to be doing 20 repetitions on each leg. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Start with a really small hop left to right and then start making it bigger and bigger and bigger, as wide as you can control. You want to really try to cover as much ground as possible, really working on that inside and outside thigh. This builds a lot of strength around that knee to help you out on those slopes. Helps us stave off injury. We're going to switch those legs. And start again. Like I said, this is really, really good for not only building strength on the inside and outside of that thigh, but also building strength of that knee to protect it from any kind of odd angles or twists while you're out there on the slopes. Just got a few more to do. And there's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. We're moving on to the high knee step over. This is a nice slow motion, nice controlled motion. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now with this one, you want to imagine like you're stepping over the top of a high railing or a rope or a band or something like that to try to get yourself to step as high as you possibly can. Every single step, you want to bring that knee up as high as you can. Step over just a little bit, and then bring that leg right back over. This really, really builds up those hip flexors, the inside and outside of that hip as well, to control that hip socket, give you a little bit more range of motion even. Really comes in handy for picking up those heavy skis, especially as you've been out there for a long time. Also helping you increase that strength and control over that hip flexor, raising that knee, and helping you with your turns, especially when you're doing things like moguls. Now that we're about halfway through this, your legs are probably starting to get a little bit heavy, starting to get a little tired, so you need to be really, really diligent about getting those knees as high as possible. Really force that range of motion. We're almost done, just a few more repetitions. Step back over and let it relax. Alright, moving on to the single leg lateral hops again. Get ready and begin. Remember, start with those nice small hops and work them wider and wider and wider until you're pushing as hard as you can, as wide as possible, every single one. Now, if your legs aren't particularly strong to begin with, you might want to keep those jumps really nice and small to begin with all the way through. But as those legs get stronger, really force that range of motion. Here's your last one right here. Go and switch those legs and start again. Now be really careful about how far you jump on each side. You might want to put some markers on the ground that you're aiming for to make sure you're doing the same width jump on each leg. The last thing you want to do is do a narrower jump on one leg than you do on the other and get yourself a strength imbalance from left to right. We're almost done. And there you go. Go ahead and let it relax. Moving back to the high knee step over. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now remember, focus on as much range of motion as possible, getting that knee as high as you can, stepping out nice and wide, and back again. Really focus on it as you start getting tired. Really trying to keep that knee nice and high. Just keep that motion going nice and slow under control. And we're almost done. One more back over. Back again. And that's it. Go ahead and let it relax. All right, moving back to that single leg lateral hop. Really focusing on trying to get as much range of motion left to right as you can. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. As saying before, you really want to focus on trying to push that range of motion, but if those knees aren't quite strong enough yet, then you might want to switch back to a double leg lateral hop. Give those knees just a little bit of a break on this last one until those legs get a little bit stronger. We're almost done. And go ahead and let it relax. We're going to switch legs and begin again. We're almost done. This is your last one right here. And let it relax. Moving on to the high knee step over again. There's your last round of these. Really focus on keeping that form nice and tight. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Really nice high knee motion. Stepping over sideways and back. Really focusing on keeping that knee nice and high. Almost done. This is your last one right here. And back again. And let it relax. Alright, that was the end of group number 3. We're on to group number 4. This is the single leg ventral hop and the 3-point squat. We're going to start out with the single leg ventral hops. We're doing 20 repetitions on each leg of this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Jumping straight forward and straight back on a single leg. You're trying again to get as much range of motion out of this as possible. It's really going to help those hip flexors, those glutes, building up an extra amount of control through that leg. We're almost done. And let it relax. We're going to switch those legs. Same thing on the other side, 20 repetitions. As much range of motion as you can. Just like with the lateral hops, if those knees aren't quite strong enough, you might want to start out with 2 legs at a time first, build them up a little bit, and then switch to a single leg later. There's your last one right here. And let that one relax. Moving to the 3-point squat, you're going to need a dumbbell for this one or a medicine ball. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. So you're going to keep those feet nice and close together. Squat and point with that dumbbell or that medicine ball out to your left, then dead center in your middle, then off to the right, and then start back over on the left side. You're trying to get as much range of motion out of it as you can. Try to reach with that dumbbell as far as possible. You don't need anything really heavy. You can always build the weight up later on. It's more just to help you keep your balance and keep your weight back in your heels. Just keep that motion going, nice and slow, under control. You're almost done. Just have one more over to the right. And let it relax. All right, moving back to that single leg ventral hop. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, large range of motion, really jumping as hard as you possibly can. Focusing on trying to keep it as controlled as possible. Try to keep it a nice straight line. Try not to waver left to right at all. Just really focusing on a nice clean form. Just got a few more repetitions to go. Go ahead and let it relax. We're going to switch legs and start you again. Here you go. Remember, 20 repetitions, really pushing that range of motion as much as possible. And there's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. Moving back to that 3-point squat, grab that dumbbell or the medicine ball. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, point that dumbbell or that medicine ball as far out to the left, the center, and the right as you can. Squatting nice and low every single time. Really concentrating on keeping that weight back in those heels. Keeping those knees back behind those toes the entire time. This really helps build up that strength through those knees, those hips. Build up a little extra balance through those ankles. Teaches your body how to control its own weight. We're almost done, just a few more through. This is the start of your last round, off to the left. In the center. One more to the right. And let it relax. All right, back to that single leg ventral hop. This is your last one. Really focus on your form on this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Really push that range of motion. Really concentrate on keeping that control. Nice straight line, front and back. Try not to waver left to right at all. Really force those muscles to do what you want them to, even though they're getting tired. Almost done. That's your last one. Go ahead and switch those legs. And begin again. Remember, it's all about control. It's all about range of motion. You want to try to do both at the same time. Almost done. And there's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. Back to that last round of the 3-point squat. Grab that dumbbell or that medicine ball. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, trying to get as low as possible. Pointing that dumbbell or that medicine ball out to the left, center, and the right as far as you possibly can on each squat. Just keep that motion going, nice and slow, under control. Really working on that balance. If you want to make this one a little bit harder for balance, you can always stand on top of a pad or a pillow. Makes those ankles have to work a little bit harder. Bosu ball comes in really handy for this one, or even something like a balance board. And this is your last round on this one. Down the center. One more on the right. And let it relax. All right, that's the end of group number 4. Now we're on to the last group, number 5. We're going to be doing the low squat, jump and twist, and the lunge with a rotation. We're starting out with a low squat, jump, twist with 20 repetitions. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Squat down nice and low, and you're going to be jumping those feet left to right as far as you can while trying to keep those shoulders straight forward. You really want to focus on trying to get as much rotation out of that torso as possible, really getting those knees, trying to point them left to right each time. There's your last one right here, and let it relax. All right, we're moving on to the lunge with rotation for this next one. You can use either dumbbells or a medicine ball for this. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You're going to lunge forward just like you would with a traditional lunge, keeping those knees at a 90-degree angle, that front knee behind your toe. You're going to rotate left to right as far as you possibly can without letting your hips turn. You want those hips facing straight forward the entire time. Those arms come directly out in front of your chest, shoulder height. Look at those hands as you rotate left to right. This is not only to help you build strength, but also to really control your balance. Trying to maintain balance while you're turning your head is quite difficult. And it happens quite often when you're out on the slopes. So this one is going to help you out with that. We're almost done. You just have one more to do. It's your last one. Go and step out, rotate left to right, and let it relax. All right, we're moving on to the low squat jump twist. Remember, 20 repetitions on this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Nice low squat, hopping back and forth, trying to get those knees as far to the left and right as possible, but still trying to maintain those shoulders straight forward. Just keep that motion going under control. Almost done. And let it relax. Starting again with that lunge with rotation. Go ahead and grab those dumbbells or medicine ball. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Nice long lunge. Really focus on that lunge motion as well. You don't want to let that lunge get sloppy. Try to evenly disperse your weight between your front and your back leg. Try to let that front leg, the knee of that front leg, go over that toe. At the same time, go out there and freeze that motion. That nice twist left to right as far as you can without letting those hips turn. The slower you do this motion, the more control you're going to have over it. If you start trying to go too fast, that's when you're going to have trouble with your balance. So focus on keeping that motion under control, a nice, slow, smooth motion. And this is your last one right here. A nice rotation. And let it relax. All right, moving on to that low squat jump twist. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Nice low squat, really rotating those knees as far as you can left to right, keeping those shoulders facing forward. Just keep that motion going as quick as you can, under control. And this is your last one right here. Go ahead and let it relax. Moving on to that lunge with rotation. This is your last round of this one. Grab those dumbbells, that medicine ball, get ready, and begin. Remember, nice solid lunge, foot out nice and far, make sure that knee doesn't go over past that toe. Then rotate left to right with those shoulders only, make sure those arms stay right directly in front of that chest. Nice smooth motion. Just keep it going under control. Don't start going too fast. Remember, you want a nice slow motion to help you keep that balance. And this is your last one right here. Go and step out, rotation, back up, and let it relax. All right, that's the end of this workout. Add in a 30 or 60 minute cardio routine and it'll really get you in shape for the slopes. Like our free workout videos? Then keep them free by telling a friend and going to fitnessblender.com for more full-length workout routines.